Yeah, go
Okay,
for it. Sorry.
everybody. I'm Rick Hobbs with Long Building Technologies, and I'm introducing this week's coffee break. Today we've got Boon Edam and Glenn Tracy with us. Glenn is 35 years experience with physical access control, entrance control, 21 years with Boon Edam. So we're fortunate to have him with us and his experience, and looking forward to hearing what he has to say. So Glenn, if you want to go ahead and start, we'd love to hear it.
Thank you, Rick. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to join you today in your coffee break. Can everybody hear me okay? You're probably muted, so you can't tell me, but Rick, can you hear me?
I can indeed.
Okay. Well, Boon Edam is a security entrance solutions provider. And what does that mean? Well, we build things like turnstiles and all types of security revolving doors and entrances. But today we're going to talk about the authorized entry and preventing unauthorized entry. You'll hear words like tailgating and piggybacking being used. Those types of words are very relevant to me in our business because it's the real pain point for any facility that is contemplating either upgrading or installing a completely new access control system. So when a facility gets into that mode of design, what are their basic requirements? Generally, they're going to need people, they're going to need a process, and they're going to need technology. People typically are going to be your security staff. How do they respond to intruders? How do they respond to turnstile devices that have an alarm and they detected a tailgating attempt? All those things are carefully analyzed within the security team for any given end user, and so that people in process couldn't do fully the best job possible without the technology side of it, and that's the last puzzle piece here on the right. And the technology side is really different types of barriers, but it's the camera, the access control system like a Linnell software. And so all those things put together bring the solution, as it were, into play. Today, nearly a full year into a pandemic situation, we are faced with customer demands of we don't want to touch anything. So touchless entry has become a buzzword in the industry, and buildings are really grappling with how could we install these security devices without people touching them. So they find solutions like iris scans, card readers, hand wave devices that you don't have to literally touch to activate a device. So we have got lots of examples now of these turnstile devices being utilized with biometric authorization. And it's really cool how quickly the industry deployed to meet these needs and demands of the end users wanting to create an environment that their employees, when they come back to those buildings, that they feel safe in. So touchless activation is certainly a key driver to that. I'm going to jump now into a discussion about the levels of security for different types of entrances and how these capabilities are scalable. We're today contemplating 3 different levels of security because there's a lot of different devices out there to help fortify a strategy, whether it's a low security application, medium, or high. And you see below each of those words, we talk about deter, detect, and prevent. I'm going to put a little more emphasis on medium and high security today. Just to give you an idea, on low security, we'd be talking about old-fashioned tripod turnstiles that you can crawl under or jump over. Those are going to always require security staff. That's a very low level of security. But when we get into medium security, we're now talking about the optical turnstile range. You saw a glimpse of some photos on optical turnstiles at the front end of the presentation deck. Those, of course, come with a capital cost. You got to install the equipment and work with your A&E to get the lobby designed. By the time you put those turnstiles in, you will need security staff present to monitor those areas where folks are going through the turnstiles. Nice thing about these products is that they are high throughput, so they can move a lot of people through. And in terms of metrics and the capabilities that the equipment has, what do I mean by that? Well, we can give the access control system data from the turnstiles, like alarm outputs, a multitude of outputs that end users can monitor and help measure the success and performance of those turnstiles. At the end of the day, there's typically an annual operating cost, and anytime you have security staff present, those security officers do not come cheap. So the capital expense, the operating expense is always going to have a pretty hefty price tag when you're in a medium detect strategy application. So what do some of these products look like for the medium security range? Swinging gate panels are trending. They're very quiet. They open away from the users depending on the direction of egress. They have tailgating devices. They also have safety sensors so that if somebody stops halfway through, the panels won't close on you. And they're available in a wide variety of colors, which the architects and facility managers like, especially if they're trying to create a certain style or brand in the lobbies. High throughput, 25 to 30 users. There's other types of lobby turnstiles that are available for designers to select from. This is an example of a bipart sliding unit. So unlike the swinging panels, this one is a little more static in terms of it doesn't have a breakaway system, so you have to tie into the fire alarm and ensure if there's a loss of power that you can easily pull open the panels, just like you could pull open a man door, for example. And usually when you get into this type of product, some type of adjacent gate might be needed to meet life safety and NFPA. Jumping ahead now into high security. What is high security? Well, we're talking about a prevention strategy. And when we're talking about a prevention strategy, we've leveled up from just being able to detect a tailgating attempt. We're now contemplating devices that can literally prevent tailgating and or piggybacking. Capital cost is still there. It's about on par with the other devices we just looked at, but you can see there's no need for a guard. Throughput is still very high. It's comparable to the other types of lanes, but the metrics capability when we get into high security doors is even greater than what we can pull out of lobby turnstiles. So the metrics capability, end users find that they can pull out data about tailgating attempts or piggybacking attempts and use that to learn the behaviors of the folks that are passing through these doors, and in some cases, help better train the employees and associates that are going through these entrances. You can see there's only a half bag of cash there for the operating costs. That's because we've eliminated the need for a guard. So now you've selected a product that literally can pay for itself. And so that's going to lower your annual operating cost. within a year or two's time, it's going to actually put money back into your pocket. These doors can be very attractive, very beautiful. They can be clad with stainless steel or other types of finishes to meet and align with adjacent storefront or constructed walls. Four-wing design security revolving doors allow bi-directional traffic. They come standard with anti-tailgating technology. What that means is if Rick Hobbs is trying to follow me in the next compartment after I've authorized myself to go through, that he's going to be stopped. I'm going to be able to enter the secure area, and Rick's going to have to back out. These doors have built-in connectivity so that techs can go in and quickly diagnose software. Just wanted to mention that. The lanes do as well. Kind of skimmed over that. We've got a short period of time to pack a lot of information in for you, but the piggybacking, I really want to put an emphasis on that because piggybacking technology is where we can literally stop two folks from trying to enter on the one read. And both the security revolving door and the man trap portal I'm about to show you are capable of preventing two persons from entering on one card authorization. The last product we'll share with you, the Boon Edam Circle Lock, is another prevention strategy type door, similar in all facets compared to the revolving door, except in the middle there, the throughput you'll see is much lower. And why is that? Well, it's because these doors are intended for one user at a time, and they have about a 10 to 11 second full cycle to complete the passage through the portal. So it's a lower throughput. You'll see a lot of these installed in data centers where traffic tends to be lower anyways. We're not talking about call center with 3,000 employees or things like that. These are much lower throughput. So, and if you need higher throughput, you could always put more, doing a data center project right here in Salt Lake City. They've got 3 units side by side, anticipating pretty good number of folks that are going to be coming and going to the rack space. So they do completely stop piggybacking. And how do they do that? Well, one of the keys there is the interior post for a biometric device to be mounted. What that means is that the user cards in, then gets inside the cabin, and then they're going to have a fingerprint scan or a palm wave or some type of biometric to tie their identity to the card. That ensures the people who are authorized are truly the people that get into the secure area. So with Rick's permission, we're just sharing as we wrap up here and run out of time. The Boon Edam West Coast Technology Center based in San Jose is available for our friends from the Pacific Northwest to come on down for a day trip and see all these products that we've shared with you today. Real, full-size models, all tied into access control with various types of biometric devices and activation devices included. It's a wonderful opportunity for you and any of your clients wanting to get a firsthand look at these products in a safe, controlled environment. We're very sensitive to the COVID protocols. And so at the center, you can come down, you can learn about the different levels of security that we've talked about today, explore the latest technologies that are integrated into these turnstiles and doors. And Rick and his team, Steve, they would be more than happy to set up an opportunity for you folks to come down and see us in San Jose. If that's not possible, we also can set up peer-to-peer meetings. We've got a lot of product in the greater Seattle and Portland areas. So with that said, I'm going to just
Glenn, Glenn, a couple of questions on chat. First is, are there any special construction requirements that the architect or a building owner should be aware of?
Sure. One of the biggest things is the floor. Floors need to be level for turnstiles and doors, so
Yeah.
that's always a prerequisite. If we have raised floor situations, which a lot of our security projects do nowadays, then we have to make sure that that raised floor, that the supports are fastened to the slab, and that the tiles of the raised floor surface are secured to the supports.
Got it. That's great.
Yeah.
And then one more question, a couple more coming in, which is great. In terms of, what's the maintenance cost on an ongoing basis for the turnstiles?
Well, ongoing maintenance is, that's a great question. We provide factory plans for preventative maintenance, which could run a couple $1,000s a year to improve your longevity and reliability of the product over the lifetime of the door or turnstile. These products all come with a standard 1-year warranty, but extended warranties can be written into your specifications so that it really becomes a worry-free scenario for your clients on the front end of the project. Hope that helps.
No, that's great.
And I think that's the end of our time. So I'm going to bring it to an end and just announce that next week, hope you'll join us. Darren Veach is going to be going through Distech controls application and hoping that you'll join us next Thursday at 10 o'clock for that. With that, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next week.